Hi guys, I'm Mike, and this is another Raid Shadow Legends video. In this video I want to take a look at one of the few rares that I'm still using even now that I'm further along in the game. Regrettably, not a lot of rares are still all that useful when you get more and more epics added to your roster, because there's just so many powerhouses of epics that rares often get slotted out rather quickly. But there are a couple exceptions, of course. And we are going to be taking a look at one of those exceptions today. This is a champion from the Undead Hordes faction, and she is a bit of a specialist, but she can still be used when you are absolutely endgame. And I'm talking about Frozen Banshee. Frozen Banshee is a poison specialist, and a poison specialist is very useful in a couple of areas in the game. One of those is, for example, the Dragon Dungeon. And if you take her as a damage dealer for the dragon, you will not be disappointed. Poisons are also very useful for clan boss, and in faction wars she is very good to use against bosses. So let's take a look at her kit. Her A1 attacks an enemy 2 times, and each hit has a 100% chance when booked of placing a 5% poison debuff, which is the big version, for 2 turns if the target is under a poison sensitivity debuff. Then let's move on to the A2. It attacks 1 enemy and it fills the turn meter of all allies by 2% for each debuff on the target. Not bad, but it is the A3 that we are looking for. Her A3 attacks 1 enemy and it places a 25% poison sensitivity debuff for 2 turns. And the great thing about this is that it makes poisons do more damage, but also, like you read in the A1, she needs poison sensitivity to be on her target to be able to land more poisons. So this is a very nice synergy between the A1 and the A3. Also, she has an aura which increases ally accuracy in all battles by 35, which is not bad, but it's also not super impressive, of course. And if we take a look at her stats, then we will see that she has reasonable HP, and the same goes for her attack and defense, which is both around 1000, and 99 speed is not very fast, but it's not slow either. So let's take a look at how I have built my Frozen Banshee. So here we go. Obviously, for a Frozen Banshee, you will want her to land her debuffs, which is most important to her. So accuracy is an incredibly important stat. And this you can also see in the sets that I've chosen. Because I've gone for speed, which is something that every champion needs, accuracy, and perception. So these 3 sets all focus on accuracy and or speed. You could also put more defensive gear on her if you need her to stay alive longer for the clan boss, for example. So something like defense or immortal is not too bad. But these things help her more, in my opinion. And as you can see, her total stats for me, she has 30,000 HP. I don't find her attack all that relevant. She has almost 3,000 defense, a speed of 174. She has 100% crit rate, and a little bit of crit damage as well. And she has 431 accuracy. This is a bit on the high side, you could lower it a little bit, but having a higher accuracy also makes sure that she will land more debuffs, so it's not all that bad. And to focus back a little bit on the 174 speed that I have on her, this is not because I can't push her further, which would be beneficial for her, of course, but this is because I have her speed tuned for a double man-eater unkillable team. So I need her to be at 174 speed, or otherwise my tune will fall apart. And like I said, I have built her for an unkillable team, so I went for this mastery set, which has Grim Resolve in there instead of Heart of Glory. With Heart of Glory, you will do more damage when you have full HP, but when you have Grim Resolve, you will do more damage when attacking with 50% HP or less. And with an unkillable team, she will be mostly hanging around practically 1% HP. So this is a better choice then. You can also see that I went for a bit of accuracy, of course, and Master Hexer, so that her poisons and her poison sensitivity have a chance of lasting 1 turn longer. And for something like a clan boss or a dungeon like dragon, it is never a bad thing to have War Master on your champion, so she can do a little bit more damage. So like I said, this champion is a bit of a specialist. You can use her in a couple areas, but even when you are a lot further along in the game, she can still be very valuable for you. For example, in dragons, like I said. So let's take a look at how she performs there. We're just gonna do a stage 20 run. And I tried to tune down the team a little bit, so I didn't include things like Krisk or Xavia and just threw in a couple epics and Syl. And let's see how they do. Of course, a couple of epics, including Seer, is not all that unimpressive, of course, but still. She is not meant to be very powerful during the waves, so I thought it would be a better idea just to run through the waves as fast as we can. And then you will see that she still puts out quite a lot of damage on the dragon itself, which is quite impressive. So almost onto the boss. Here we go. Okay. Now it's time for Frozen Banshee to do her magic. There it comes. The poison sensitivity is on there. And now she will just have to place as much poisons on there as possible. She already has 4 on there now. And there comes the poison sensitivity again, which was resisted. Which is quite unlucky with the 400 plus accuracy that we have on her. But still, this run is going just fine. No problem at all. So that one resisted poison sensitivity sure hampered her damage, but she still did almost 1 million damage on the dragon. Because on the waves she does a lot less, so that's not all that impressive. And for Seer, most of her damage, of course, came from the waves. So that she was still able to do almost 1 million damage is quite good. So like I said, a second area where you can use her very well is in the Faction War script. Because there's 3 bosses in there, of course. And again, if you need someone to do a lot of damage on a single target, then Frozen Banshee is a great addition to your team. So when facing the boss of level 14 or level 21, she's absolutely a great option for you. And for the clan boss, she is also a great option. I have actually built an unkillable team with 2 man-eaters in there. And I have 2 options when I do this. I have one team that includes Occult Brawler, which is a Spirit Affinity champion. And I have the same team with Frozen Banshee slotting in for Occult Brawler. In practice, this means that every time that the clan boss is Magic Affinity, then I will not use the team with Occult Brawler, of course, because then he will have a lot of weak hits and do a lot less damage. But in that case, I will go for Frozen Banshee, and she can actually do a load of damage in place of Occult Brawler, making sure that I can face any affinity boss. Regrettably today, as you can see, the boss affinity is Force, which is the bad affinity for Frozen Banshee, so I can't show you her in action. But I can tell you that in my clan boss team, she always does around 10 to 12 million damage, and I'm able to 2-key the Ultra Nightmare boss and 1-key the Nightmare boss. Now that we've taken a closer look at Frozen Banshee, there's just one more thing that I would like to mention, and that is her synergy with another champion in the game, and that is another Undead Hordes faction champion, and we will find her in my vault, and this is Grave Chill Killer. And as you can see, I have not built her up anymore. I did try out this tandem at the beginning, and to be honest, the skills match rather well. But in the end, I found that even in combination with Frozen Banshee, Grave Chill Killer was not worth investing in, at least not maxing her out to level 60. So I would be careful if I were you. Frozen Banshee on her own is pretty strong already. Grave Chill Killer does have a kit that complements her pretty well, but there are just other champions in the game that can do what Grave Chill Killer does, and they do it better. so I would not invest in her unless you had no other option at all. So I hope you guys found this guide on Frozen Banshee useful. She's just one of the few rares that I still use today, and I am sure that she can provide you guys with value as well. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and maybe subscribe to the channel for more Raid Shadow Legends videos. I wish you guys a very nice day, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!